Fantastic. What about great memories? You must have some unique patients, you must have some unique trainees, you must have unique trips or presentations.
Oh, patients, I just love my patients, and I know a lot of them really well, and I have some of them that are really, some memories that I can never ever forget. One lady came in one day, she had a present for me, and I said, well, what's this? She says, it's our silver anniversary. She had come to me for 25 years, and she had this little silver dish she gave to me as our silver anniversary, and I thought, well, that is just the funniest thing. This same lady, I did a breast biopsy on her, and the pathologist told me she had breast cancer. And so I told her she had breast cancer, but I was going away the next day, and I couldn't do her operation. I said, listen, I'll give you these pills until I come back. They'll help it from not spreading, and I probably took it out already. And so she's okay. And so then the pathologist calls me and says she didn't have breast cancer. And I'm thinking, oh no, So I call her in to tell her that she doesn't have breast cancer, and she looks at me, and instead of being upset that I'd upset her, she says, I never really did think I had breast cancer. She said, I just knew you wouldn't let that happen to me. So, and another family I remember very well is I've only had 2 people die after parathyroidectomy. One of them a very late death, but she never left the hospital. It was like 6 weeks later, she had a heart attack, she had this and that. And then the other lady also had very bad pulmonary disease, but she had extreme fatigue and pretty good hyperpara. And she wanted to take the chance that with her hyperpara being better, maybe she could breathe a little bit better. And I said, I don't know that you'll make it through this. Well, she didn't get off the ventilator afterwards, after surgery. She also had some probably intraoperative myocardial damage and stuff. And at the same time, my own sister died, basically. And this family was so nice to me, even though their own mother was dying. And, here I'm going through this with my sister dying. And when she died, they gave me one of her pins, because I always wore a pin. And so they gave me one of her pins. They wanted me to remember her. So, lot of people, lot of, I had a boy, he had MEN. He'd already had 2 hypophysectomies and had hypercalcemia, and nobody put the 2 together. He was 18 years old. So I worked him up, and he had a gastrin level off the wall, and so I did his parathyroidectomy. It didn't improve his gastrin level at all. And he was really just at wit's end. I mean, he just didn't do anything. He had a dysfunctional family. He didn't go to school. He didn't do anything. And so I would bring him in, and number one, I told him that he really needed to do something about his gastrin level, because he was going to, perforate an ulcer, sure enough. And he was a svelte, like 320 pounds. And I'm thinking, so here he is with peritonitis from his perforated duodenal ulcer, actually almost jejunal ulcer. And I operated on him, and then he was mine for a while. And he did end up with his total gastrectomy, so he got very involved with them. And I would lecture him every time he would come about how he had to make something of his life. He'd say, why? I'm going to die. I said, you never know when you're going to die. I said, and you can do something or you can not do something. So I finally convinced him to go back to school, and he got his degree. And then he actually did pretty well. And he only lost like 35 pounds. He was still a big guy. But, I followed him regularly. And one day I got an invitation to his wedding. I went to his wedding. He got married. And his mother even said, she says, you've been more of a mother to him than I ever was. She said, I never encouraged him to do anything. She said, you got him to go to school. He's now met this woman. He's happily married. He's still alive.
Wow.
His gastrin level is immeasurable, and he's got a ton of liver mets, etc. But he lives a good quality life. And so he's very special to me, too. So there are a lot of people you see, I had a pregnant woman who actually was beginning of her pregnancy, had very advanced breast cancer, and so I encouraged her to terminate her pregnancy. Firstly, only time I ever did that. And of course she's Catholic, you know. So I told her that God could blame me. It wasn't her fault, it was my fault. And when she ultimately did have her first child, she sent me an invitation to the christening. And she's 2 kids, they're grown, they're, you know, doing well, they're fine.
Wow.
So, you know, there are just so many people that you really become involved in their life that it's great. It's great. But I was always close to my patients. I can't tell you the number of them that invited me to their home and included me in their weddings and this and that and the other thing. And I hate to go to weddings, but every once in a while I would think it was the right thing to do.